When people are building in Minecraft, they usually focus on, well, houses and villages and towns. But what about in between? If you look at the map here, we've got a city going up here. We're going to have a city here. And we've got these 3 villages. I also built a village here. So what about all this empty space in between? Is it just going to be open grasslands? No way. To support a population, you need farms. Yeah, food source. So this whole area, this whole valley area is going to be filled with farms. So there's going to be roads, of course, and then we're going to have entrances to each field, and we're going to have farmhouses. We're going to have things like windmills, storage, and all that stuff. But what kind of farmland do you do with this? Well, we have all different kinds of crops. Of course, wheat fields are going to be a major thing that will be built, but also potatoes and carrots. That's for sure. And beets. Yes, beets. I do like to have variety in there. So this whole area is going to be filled with a large variety of fields, and it's going to look like a patchwork all the way through here. Up here, no. This is a meadow area, and I don't think I'm going to be building anything there, or any farms there. Forested areas are going to remain forested, although this country has very little forest in it. Got a little bit there, but I'm going to preserve the forest. But everywhere around here, we're going to have farms. And some of them are going to be a little bit less conventional in Minecraft. I'm going to be doing sunflower farms as well. That's going to be something that'll be interesting. But I would like to do something a little bit farther south here. And I'm thinking especially along here. So let's go here and take a look. On this side, facing the south, I kind of want to put a bunch of vineyards in here. So with that, I'll be using sweet berries. And sweet berries are a great way of, making wineries and vineyards. And you can have a lot of interesting, terrain because of it. I'd have to build a lot of course, buildings and things like that, which would make it look very nice. And lots of rows of sweet berries. That's going to be interesting. But we also have to have other kinds of farms. Animal farms, of course. And in fact, over here, I do have several plans for animal farms. And right over here, we're going to have a chicken farm. Well, actually, in the real world, I've already set up an area where there's chickens. So we're going to have a chicken farm here. And we're going to build chicken coops and all that stuff. But also have a building where we're going to have a chicken cooker. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. Over here, I am going to be building a cow farm. We're going to have a barn. We're going to have a field with cows outside, and we're going to have a cow crusher. The cow crusher is going to be inside and going to keep it out of sight. Yes, I said this is the tanner for leather as well. There's going to be a tanner here. Tanners are smelly, so they're outside of cities. They never built them inside cities. So we've got that. And over here, I think I put it right here. Sheep farm. And I'm going to have an automated sheep farm for all 16 colors of wool. And that will, of course, be inside. We're not going to have it outside, but we're going to have actual sheep wandering around outside. Is that all I'm going to have? Well, around here, most likely. We're going to have other things like for other crops that are going to be used for dyes, like for example, cactus. If I ever find cactus. Actually, the nearest desert isn't really that far, but we'll see. But we're also going to have over here a kelp farm. I want to put a kelp farm right off the coast here. And it's going to be... I'm going to build two parts to it. So we're going to have an actual visual kelp farm. It's going to look like it's got an enclosure around it with kelp growing up in it. And I'm not going to touch that kelp at all. It's just for visual purposes. But I will have an automated kelp farm on the inside, which is also going to be attached to a factory which produces kelp as food. And kelp blocks, dried kelp blocks, which can be used as fuel, which is going to be a nice use for that. Of course, there's going to be your traditional farms. I'm going to have a creeper farm for gunpowder. I'm going to have... Not really. I'm not going to have a squid farm, but I am going to have a squid fishery over here. Because I need the squid ink. And we're going to have a lot of other farms. Sugarcane farm, definitely going to have a sugarcane farm. Bamboo farm. They're all going to be automated, but bamboo farm, I think, is just going to be for building materials anyways. So it's not, we're not going to have an external farm. I'm thinking it's going to be attached to a store that sells things like, I don't know, wicker furniture. Who knows? Something like that. I want it to be appropriate, I don't want things to be out of place. Since this is a fairly major trading city, there's a jungle not far from here. So there's a jungle just on the other side of that mountain. And, weather. So the jungle, of course, is going to produce some bamboo for us. And we'll have it shipped in, I guess you can say. There's going to be so many other things, but as far as decorative farmland goes, yes, we're going to have crops everywhere. I'm going to be gathering as many flowers as I can as well for certain types of crops. Allium. Onion farm. Allium for onion farms, yes. Did you know that allium is actually onions, garlic, and chives and leeks? Well, it is, which is why I did a video on why crops in particular that I think should be added to the game. And one of them happened to be, onions from allium. Because why not? But yeah, there's going to be farms all through here. The valley areas... farmland. This is all farmland going all the way out to here. So yes, there will be farmland here as well. And looking at least the capital city over here. Now this area is going to be, there's going to be roads, there's going to be buildings, but I think I'm going to have some farms out here, especially going along over there. And over here, this is going to be interesting designing the city. I've got this large upper area, which of course is going to be built up. We're going to have lots of buildings. And we're going to have a fairly main road. I'm almost thinking of doing a kind of a circular road going around, at least in the front. Having a wall, like an inner wall. I don't know, almost 3 layers of walls. So a wall around the hill part. We're going to have a wall around the palace. We're going to have walls down along there. As well as far as farms go, this area is going to have a good amount of farmland. Kind of mixed in with houses. So this is going to be the city's agricultural sector, I guess you can say. So there will be farms. There will be gardens. There's going, of course, there's going to be community gardens. I mean, that's a thing that people did a long time ago. Still do in many places. But for places like up here, no farms at all. But yeah, this whole area going off in that direction, farms and vineyards. I can't wait for that. It's going to be interesting, as well as over there. I don't really want to cut down forests very much. In places like, let me see, this village right here. I've already done work on how I want to redesign this, right? So this village here, as you can see, I would like to place some, I think I said farms up here. Yeah, farms and gardens up here. So it'll be mostly above the village. But the rest of this, there won't be much in the way of farms and gardens, because the landscape just isn't good for that. Although I did put something down here. What did I put? Businesses, yes. Ah, yes, it's a central square. So yeah, we're going to have farms and gardens in a small area here. And other locations where they're in the forest. This city is going to have some farmland over here, but I also want to do a lot of greenhouses, which is going to be fun. And village right now, this whole area covered with farms. But this village, especially around here, we're having a botanical garden, and we're going to have a great big round greenhouse. And that's exciting. We're going to have flower gardens all over the place too, of course. But that's, I just feel that building farmland really brings things to life. If there's nothing in between villages, it's kind of boring. You want there to be things, you know? In the forests, of course, the forests are basically the garden. It's the plants. It's everything that is growing in there, and you need the forests for building materials. But, of course, I would be building small builds all through them, like campsites and cabins and little homesteads, you know, things like that. But what I want to do, just wherever there are plains, is farmland. And that is going to be fun. I just love doing farms. I don't know why. Farms and bridges. Those are my two favorite things. All right. So what do you think? Are there any other crops that you think could be used? For example, what kinds of flowers would you use for farmland? Let me know in the comments below. If you like videos like this and would like to see some more, then please consider subscribing to this channel as well as my main one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.